The message came in at 7:03 a.m., right as I was tightening the laces on my work boots. My phone buzzed twice on the kitchen counter, the sound sharp in the quiet house. I expected something routine, maybe a reminder about a utility bill or a note asking me to pick something up after work. Instead, it was a text from my wife, Renee. "Don't come home late tonight. My sister and the kids will be using the living room. You can sleep in the garage if you need quiet. No question. No explanation. Just a decision, delivered like a schedule update that I stood there for a long moment, staring at the screen while the coffee maker clicked and hissed behind me. The garage wasn't finished. No insulation. No heater. Just bare concrete, tools, boxes, and the old couch I dragged out there years ago when Renee wanted more space in the living room. I realized, standing there with one boot on and one boot off, that this wasn't the first time I'd been quietly moved out of the way. It was just the first time it had been said out loud that I didn't reply. I poured coffee into my thermos, grabbed my lunch pail, and left the house like it was any other morning. The sky was still gray, the street empty except for a few early commuters. As I drove to work, I kept thinking about how easily she'd decided where I would sleep and how automatically I'd almost accepted it. Work was loud and physical, the kind that doesn't give you space to think unless you force it. I ran machines, checked measurements, signed off on batches. On my first break, instead of scrolling my phone, I opened my banking app. Mortgage payment, utilities, internet, insurance, phone plans, groceries. Every major bill came from my account. Renee worked part-time, but her money covered clothes, gifts, little extras. I told myself it balanced out. Looking at the numbers, it didn't feel balanced at all. It felt assumed. That night, I didn't go home. I drove past the house, saw the lights on and cars in the driveway, and kept going. I checked into a small roadside motel and paid cash. The room smelled faintly of cleaner and old carpet, but it was quiet. I slept in the middle of the bed, uninterrupted, and woke up the next morning without that familiar heaviness in my chest. Over the next few days, I didn't argue or announce anything. I prepared. I opened a new checking account. I moved my direct deposit. I canceled shared subscriptions and removed my card from anything tied to the house. I called an attorney during lunch, a woman with a calm voice who asked clear questions and didn't waste time. When she told me the house was legally mine alone, something settled inside me. Not anger, clarity. Renee noticed the changes slowly. First, the streaming services stopped working. Then her card declined at the grocery store. She called me, irritated at first, asking if there was an outage. I told her I was simplifying expenses, that I needed space. She laughed like I was joking, then got quiet when she realized I wasn't. When the mortgage notice came addressed only to me, the tone of her calls changed. She accused me of being dramatic, of punishing her. I told her I wasn't punishing anyone. I was just no longer volunteering to disappear. She brought up family, commitment, how people make sacrifices in marriage. I asked her when she decided I belonged in the garage. 2 weeks later, while she was at work, I packed. I didn't take much. Clothes, tools, paperwork, a few photos from before we met. The house looked the same when I left. Same furniture, same decorations, same life. Just missing the person who'd been quietly holding it up. She tried to fix things after that. Long messages, apologies that came with explanations, promises to do better. What stood out wasn't what she said she missed about me, but what she said she needed. Help, support, stability. She never said partnership. The divorce took a few months. No shouting, no courtroom drama, just paperwork and signatures. I moved into a small rental near work, nothing fancy. 1 bedroom, 1 chair, 1 table. I slept in a real bed. I cooked simple meals. My expenses dropped. My breathing slowed. Sometimes, late at night, I think about that text. The one that told me where I belonged without asking. It wasn't cruel. That was the worst part. It was casual, like it made sense to everyone but me. Walking away didn't cost me a family. It showed me I'd never really had one. What I gained was quieter than happiness, but stronger. Space, dignity, a life where I decide where I sleep, The weeks after I moved out settled into a strange kind of quiet. Not the empty silence that echoes, but the calm kind that doesn't demand anything from you. I woke up early out of habit, laced my boots, made coffee, and drove to work without anyone asking me to pick something up on the way or reminding me of plans I hadn't agreed to. My phone stayed quiet most mornings, and I realized how rare that had been before at work. Nothing changed, and that helped. Same machines, same noise, same routine. I liked the predictability. During breaks, the guys talked about sports, weather, weekend plans. Nobody asked why I looked more rested or why I stopped checking my phone every few minutes. I didn't offer explanations. I had spent years explaining myself to people who weren't listening. I was done doing that. Renee kept reaching out. At first it was anger, sharp messages accusing me of being cold and selfish. Then confusion. Then long paragraphs sent late at night, full of questions she already knew the answers to. She said she hadn't realized how much I handled, that she never meant for me to feel pushed aside, that sleeping in the garage was just temporary, just one night. I read every message carefully and replied to none of them. Understanding after the damage is still damaged. A month later, she asked if we could meet and talk in person. I agreed, but only in public. We met at a small coffee shop near the courthouse. She looked tired. Her hair wasn't done the way she used to do it, and she kept adjusting the strap of her purse like she didn't know what to do with her hands. She talked for a long time, circling around apologies without quite landing on responsibility. When she finally stopped, she asked me what I wanted. I told her the truth. I wanted a life where I wasn't quietly reassigned when someone more important showed up, where decisions weren't made about me without me, where partnership meant standing next to someone, not behind them. She cried then, and people at nearby tables pretended not to notice. I felt sad for her, but I didn't feel pulled back. That surprised me. The house went up for sale shortly after. She had no choice. I signed the papers remotely and watched the process like someone observing a former neighborhood from a passing train. When it sold, the chapter closed completely. No more shared property. No more shared responsibilities. Just clean lines and distance. I moved again after that, this time into a small apartment closer to work. It wasn't impressive, but it was mine. I bought a cheap table, a chair, and a lamp. I didn't rush to fill the space. I let it stay quiet. I learned how little I actually needed when I wasn't carrying other people's weight. Some nights, memories crept in. Holidays, routines, the version of myself that believed patience would eventually be rewarded. I didn't hate that man. I understood him better now. He thought endurance was love. He thought being useful was the same as being valued. Letting go of those beliefs felt like setting something heavy down after carrying it too far. A year passed. Then another. My finances stabilized in ways they never had before. I took a short vacation alone for the first time in my life. Drove out to a lake, stayed in a small cabin, and spent mornings drinking coffee on the porch with no agenda. I didn't miss anyone. That didn't make me heartless. It made me honest. Every now and then, I'd think back to that morning. The chipped mug, the half-tied boots, the casual text that told me exactly where I stood. I stopped seeing it as an insult and started seeing it as a gift. It was the moment the truth finally spoke clearly enough for me to hear it. I don't tell this story because I'm proud of leaving. I tell it because staying would have cost me more than walking away ever did. I learned that love doesn't ask you to shrink quietly. It doesn't move you into the garage and call it compromise. Real partnership makes room. It doesn't take space. These days, my life is simple. Work, rest, small routines that belong to me. I still lace my boots every morning. I still drink my coffee slowly. The difference is that when plans change now, they change because I chose them. And that, more than anything, is what freedom feels like.